Today we're going to talk about finding our perfect standing posture. And the reason this is so important is that we live life, right? We sit at our desks all day, we're texting, we're on our computers, we're out doing any activity that we do, and gravity works against us by pulling us into different positions. And then we all have our postural things, our postural habits that we do that take us out of our perfect posture. So we're going to find that today by lying down first because we take gravity off of the body and helps find the perfect posture. And we do this by finding something in the Pilates world that we call a neutral spine or a neutral pelvis position. And so we're going to do that first today, lying down. And then because you're not lying down all day, we're going to take that to a standing position so that you can find it anytime during your day if there's nowhere to lie down. So the way to find our neutral spine position is we're going to lie on a mat or whatever surface. You can use a yoga mat on a floor. And we'll have knees bent, feet flat. We're going to take the heels of the hands and place them on either side of your hip bones, on the hip points, letting your fingers cross toward each other to the pubic bone. That's going to create a little bit of a V, and then let the thumbs come toward each other just under the belly button to create a little triangle on top of the pelvis. Inside of that triangle, we're going to imagine that we have a martini glass. I use a martini glass because they're very precarious when they're full. They're very difficult to not spill. So we want to have an incredibly full martini glass sitting right on top of that pelvis. And now just to help us find the spot where it's not going to spill, we're going to actually spill that drink forward and back a few times, moving through the pelvis. So we're going to take an exhale as we let the belly button drop down to the mat, letting the pubic bone come up toward our chest, spilling the drink onto the chest. And then we're going to inhale, let the spine roll back out, spilling the drink through the knees. And let's do that one more time just to get that comfortable with that movement of the pelvis. Rocking forward and arching it away. And then we're going to let the hips settle back to a spot where that drink does not spill. So in an ideal world, if we take the hands off the pelvis and we slide them out, they should be perfectly parallel to the floor. If the tips of the fingers are higher than the heels of your hands, that drink is going to spill, which means you're a little bit too curled in your low back. If the heels of your hands are higher than the fingertips, that means you're in a little bit too much of an arch. So we want to find that spot right in between. That's beautiful. And then sometimes what happens is our upper and lower spine want to move together. So when we take our pelvis away, we tend to pop the ribs. Sometimes when we pull our back down, our ribs tend to curl in, moving in one piece. Ideally, we want the spine to start to learn how to move separately, upper and lower spine. So we have our neutral here. We're going to take a big inhale, and without pushing anything into place, we're just going to exhale and let those ribs settle down to the mat. So that creates our back ribs nice and heavy weighted on the mat, creating our three natural curves that we have in our spine. Our cervical, right behind the neck there, cervical curve. And then we have our thoracic curve, which is our upper back, nice and flat and heavy and weighted on the mat. And then our lumbar curve, slightly lifted, creating a little S shape in our spine. So this is our perfect laying down posture. Once you've found this here, take a few breaths in this position just to see how it feels and start getting your body used to what that feels like. It may feel a little different for you because sometimes our perfect posture just doesn't feel natural for us. So now we're going to find this position standing up because we're not laying down all day. So you can do this against any wall in your house, in your office, anywhere you are. Anytime you want to just remind your body of perfect posture, find a wall. We're going to stand up against it and let your shoulders just drop down away from your ears. You're going to have your nice flat pelvis the same way we did when we were lying down against the wall. Notice if those ribs are wanting to pop up. Take an inhale. On the exhale, let them rock back toward the wall so you can feel all of your back ribs heavy and weighted on the wall. Gaze is going to be straight forward so the chin is nice and soft. So now we have standing, a little bit of space behind the neck and a little bit of space behind the low back. Ribs are on the wall and the pelvis is on the wall. And there we have our perfect standing posture, which you can find any time of day. Find a wall or lie down and practice it lying down.